Hey, this is Dutch with Teton Gravity Research. In today's episode, we're taking you into the field and showing you some of the tricks we use when filming action sports. So we're here in the backcountry on a mountain bike trail, and the idea for this shot is to have two mountain bikers come down the trail, and the first thing I want to do is set up the shot and compose it, and then from there, we'll focus, expose, and get everything else dialed to make this shot happen. I want the riders to be full frame around the turn. So this is looking pretty good. Let's adjust our settings. So for this setup, our frame rate is set to 24p, our shutter speed's at 1/50th of a second, and our ISO is at 100, which will keep the image noise-free. The final adjustment I need to make for the proper exposure is the aperture. This scene calls for an aperture of f10, giving a centered histogram and a nicely exposed shot. This f-stop also gives a large depth of field, meaning most of the frame is in focus. This is important for action sports since the subject is covering a very long distance in a really short amount of time, so we typically want most of the image to be in focus. So for this shot, our main point of focus is on the final turn. So what I've done is I have the subject standing in so I can get a critical focus. Using my focus expand, I'll punch in, I'll grab focus there, punch out, and now we're ready to roll. One of my go-to lenses is the Sony 70-200. It's versatile enough for almost all situations in filming action sports. I also like using this lens for portraits and interviews. When possible, we always use a tripod, but there may be times when you're on the go and want the natural motion of a handheld camera. With Sony 4K lenses and cameras, there's an image stabilization feature called Steady Shot that ensures smoother handheld shots. We travel a lot and document the journey, but it's difficult when you have a ton of bags, you're tired and on the move. The last thing you want to do is stop to pull out the camera. To get around this, use the neck strap so you're able to quickly fire up the camera and capture moments on the go. You can also pull the neck strap tight for extra stability. There's a couple things you need to know when choosing the correct lens. First, focal length, which is measured in millimeters, will guide you into the visual perspective of the lens. The lower the millimeter, the wider the visual perspective. The higher the millimeter, the closer your subject will appear in the frame. Matching Sony's 4K cameras with their lenses gives optimal image quality. Implementing these basic camera techniques, like when to use a tripod or when to go handheld and which lenses to use, all come together to build a compelling story. Join us in the next episode where we talk about storytelling with your Sony 4K camera.